Section 3, the just do it mentality, right? How to break things quickly. Because with a finite number of hours in the day and constant, continuous distraction in our lives with social media, how do we decide what to spend our time on to produce the results that we desire the fastest, right? And some people have probably heard of the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. But basically what it means is it's a theory that maintains that 80% of the output from a given situation or system is determined by 20% of the input. And we'll explain what this means in detail below, but why does 80-20 happen, right? It's a very important question. It's probably one of the most important questions. And if you look, you can see this in all throughout nature and human civilization and Earth in general, right? 80% of the planet is water, 20% is land. 80% of the land is in 20% of the countries, right? 80% of all land that exists is in 20% of the countries. 80% of sunshine is in 20% of the countries, right? 80% of health issues are experienced by 20% of people, and I'm not going to read all of these. 80% of traffic jam is on 20% of the streets. Why does this happen, right? It's the avalanche effect. Have you ever been to a party and one person leaves, and then all of a sudden a few people start to leave, and then everyone leaves, right? So if a lot of people are joining the party, then it's going to start getting positive, right? More people are joining, but as soon as people start leaving, it starts spiraling down, right? These things can spiral up or they can spiral down depending on whether the feedback is positive or negative. And it's so important to control this upward or downward trend in your own life, right? It's the most important thing that I can teach you, understanding, seeing it, and then learning how to control it, right? And once you start to build up a whole bunch of money, you start to earn a lot of interest on that money, right? And that affects by creating more money in your bank, right? And it feeds back onto the interest of all that money, and it compounds and it keeps spiraling up and up, right? And not only that, we see the same thing on the internet with YouTube videos, right? Virality, how things go viral. As soon as a video starts getting a lot of views, it starts getting more and more views. It has a feedback growth effect, right? And some people like Jeff Bezos, right, sometimes make more than $1 billion profit in a day, right? $1 billion. Because they've built up their beliefs. They've confirmed those beliefs immeasurably and invincibly with their actions, right? With their daily consistent actions. And they've built very strong automation infrastructure and more or less an unstoppable upward spiraling feedback loop, right? And a common misconception is that when people create a course and they start building an audience, that they need to design like a full-blown website, right? A blog, custom designs, pictures, like mobile, everything looks perfect. But the truth is you don't need any of those bells and whistles yet, right? The only things that you need, we're going to share with you in a completed 100% ready to go form. We're going to give you the sales funnel that's made millions of dollars, right? We're going to give you the order page. We're going to give you the thank you page. We're going to give you the membership site. We're going to give you the email automations. Everything with the click of a button you can import into your account, right? And that's great news, especially if you're just getting started and you don't have a website yet. Everything inside of DCS is going to strictly focus on the Pareto principle, the 20% of actions that will get you the 80% of the result that you want the fastest, right? And the rest is naturally going to fall into place with time and hard work. But the thing is, you're going to be tempted to do anything other than the work you need to do to be successful. That is how the procrastinating human mind literally works, right? You're starting a brand new chapter in your life that has potential to change everything. But some things are going to feel challenging, right? They're going to push you outside your comfort zone, and you're going to want to do everything else and anything else other than the highest value work, right? The 20% of the work that's going to give you 80% of the result, right? The people who want success, they take 100% responsibility for themselves and for their situations, right? You need to take full responsibility and understand that where you are in life right now is your doing, right? You did it all. And remember, the main goal right now is to understand the big 3 on social media and how to start attracting targeted people in your niche and to build your YouTube subscribers one at a time, right? To build your Facebook group members one at a time, one day at a time, right? With unscalable methods at first. And with a solid proven content, right? A Facebook group with targeted interested members and an email list with a lead magnet, right? That we're going to discuss in detail later on. So all you really need to do at the start is a simple landing page, right? To give away your lead magnet and to start capturing email addresses. And we're going to give you that pre-built in this chapter, right? One click of a button, you're going to have it ready to go, right? We're going to give you that 100% ready to go funnel because we want to enable you every step of the way. And for people who think that everything has to start out perfect, right? Look at what Google used to look at. Look at what Facebook used to look at. look like, right? These were the first versions. Look at Google right here. I love it, right? And Amazon, Tumblr, YouTube is the same, right? All of these websites started out completely different, right? Look at how spammy Yahoo looked when it first came out. The point is, though, they started, right? They didn't let their perfectionism hold them back from taking action. Imperfect action always trumps perfect inaction, right? And to start getting your first traffic, we're going to do things differently than we will once you get those critical first 1,000 subscribers to YouTube or emails or in your Facebook group or on social media, right? We're going to show you how to grow your list, right, of social media followers to 10,000, 50,000, and even 100,000. But I want you to be aware that in the beginning, you're going to have to fight, right, tooth and nail for each subscriber and each new member of your group and each new email address. And you have to remember that the growth curve, as you grow, it's not linear, right? It's exponential. But you have to reach the point where you can receive that exponential payoff, right? And most people give up before they see that massive explosion, right? Not only in their followers, but also in their impact. And then, of course, when you have more impact, you make a ridiculous amount of money, right? And with so many options, getting started is the hardest part of all of this, right? But if you are relentless, you will come out on top. That's a guarantee. Right, so think about trying to light a fire without matches or a lighter, right? You have to rub the sticks together sometimes for hours until your arms feel like they're about to break, right? You have to blow on the embers delicately and try to get them to spark. You have to nurture it, right? And it can take hours or you know, it can feel like forever. But once you get it lit, right? Once you get that initial momentum going and the fire starts to burn, right? It grows and it roars and you can continue to add fuel to the fire and it's blazing. Right? Similarly, a merry-go-round, right? This all exists in nature. It's the same thing with human nature. It's the same thing with lighting fires. It's the same thing with, you know, getting a merry-go-round started. The hardest part is getting the wheel going, right? You have to like dig in and really like crank it and it's creaking and it's barely moving. But then once you actually overcome that initial resistance, the wheel starts to spin freely with hardly any effort on your part. Right? It's the crowd mentality. Momentum is exponential, and similar to entropy, getting started is the hardest part. But once you do, your momentum will start to build, right? Paul Graham, the founder of Y Combinator, one of the most successful startup accelerators in the world, tells all of his founders to do things that don't scale when they're first getting started, right? When Reddit first got started, they made hundreds of accounts just to interact with all of the content to make it seem like people were using Reddit. Right? That's the secret to how companies with tremendous growth, you know, quote unquote, magically take off or become overnight successes, right? Airbnb, which is now valued over $30 billion, the founders initially went door to door in New York City to recruit new users one by one, right? They photographed the apartments themselves, right? They also sold Obama and McCain themed cereal when they were literally starving to stay alive, right? And trying to keep Airbnb afloat while it was making no money, no one believed in them. And think about that for a second, right? These people are billionaires now. They sold cereal to make it work. They went door to door signing people up one person at a time. They took pictures of the apartments themselves one by one. Right? You have to do whatever it takes. If that means adding one person at a time to your Facebook group, you know, creating YouTube videos on proven content, right? One by one, even if nobody's watching, nobody's interacting, right? You're still doing it. You're still taking daily, incremental, meaningful, directed, intentional action, right? And if billionaires can create their own cereal and go door to door, then you can too, right? My point is the billionaire mentality just doesn't include a definition for giving up, right? It's just one experiment away. There's no failure, there's just feedback. And you just keep putting in the daily work and you will be successful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one and we'll see you on the next.